Hello, investors, and welcome back. Let's talk about SNDL. I want to talk about this market in general, specifically the sector, the healthcare and drug manufacturing, or where SNDL falls in, because there's a lot of fluctuations happening in this market right now. Some big news that came out. Canopy's earnings came out. Also, we had ACB put out some news that really pulled their stock back. So a lot of these drug manufacturers in Canada are pulling back, and I believe there's some similarities there, but we're also not seeing a lot of price movement in SNDL. I want to explain why. We want to take a look at volume, take a look historically what's happened. We've got the reverse stock split that's potentially coming up, and you know what happens if it doesn't come up? What happens if Zach files for an extension? Does he have the ability to change his mind? There is that possibility. I do have a small stake in SNDL still. I've sold out of my position. I bought back in. Don't worry about what anybody's doing with this stock. Use these videos, and I would say use any videos out there to just add to your own due diligence before you make any trading decision. It needs to ultimately be yours at the end of the day. If you're new to the channel, be sure to hit that subscribe button, turn on that notification bell, and to the 41 people that left the thumbs up on the last video for SNDL, I really appreciate it. Let's talk about some of these businesses in the Canadian market. I've got a few of them pulled up, but you can see Canada here on FinViz, and we've got some red. We've got some red and green, but red majority for these flower stocks in the industry, drug manufacturing, and healthcare if you want to filter this on FinViz. The first one was the 40% drop with ACB. And the reason I'm talking about this in an SNDL video is because the better you can understand some of these other Canadian players in that sector, you can appreciate what's happening with SNDL and see a little bit further past this Q2 earnings and the turnaround and what Zach is battling with up there in that market. So we had financing, right? More money because money's being burnt and spent in this sector. 125 million increased to 150. Dilution of shareholders, 61.2 million units at a price of $245. And this was sitting at about 160 when I mentioned this on the community tab. Is this an opportunity with these exercisable 36 months following the closing date offering warrants? Warrant share price of $320 per share. 63% has been lost in this play to date. I mean, there's some people feeling some pain here. Do you pick this up at the bottom? You take a look at their financials. First thing I would look at is their income statement, and I would want to know that this is going in a different direction. It is not going the right direction. Okay, and then I'm looking at the cash flow statement. That's negative. I'm going into the cash flow statement. I like to look at this on the quarterly buckets, and it doesn't look like it's trending in the right direction. 19, 22, 21, 38. That last one was pretty painful here. If we go and look at Canopy, their growth loss was bigger than feared. This stock is falling hard. I mean, Zach warned us in his last earnings call that this was happening in the market. No surprise the changes that are going to be happening in the next 12 to 24 months, and it looks like Zach and the team are going to try and take advantage of what's happening up there to help build a brand that is going to go into the future beyond these next few months. Now, one specific thing that Motley Fool's picked up on was the time that was spent talking about Village Farms and how Zach has already done his research, and that's why he's investing in other businesses. And that's another leg of the strategy for SNDL. As equity prices come down, analysts are asking, well, what do you think about those investment decisions, Zach, that you made? Sundial's made multiple key acquisitions this past year that have resulted in dilution of shareholders, our portion of the pie being taken away and used to grow the business. So when do we see a payback? Ample cash on hand, multiple things that are going to happen. But I would say that we need to have that either reverse stock split first, and this all needs to take place after the next earnings when they've stabilized the current business that they have before they look on adding anything else. We need at least another quarter under our belt. I wouldn't want to hear anything until like Q3. That would be great timing, I think. So Q2, leave it alone, don't further dilute. I would just say that this would not be a good time for an acquisition, but I do believe that's in the cards. Now, what is happening with this share price as far as not moving? I mean, the volumes went down, right? We see it's trending down, and I would expect to continue to see this. Maybe we see an uptick for the circle meeting that's coming in June and July with the rumors or whatever happens with the reverse stock split. I think it's going to come faster than what we realize. Hopefully that happens. That way we can come in once the price settles back down, but it's going to pull the price back down again and ultimately make this trade with more volatility, I would say, because there's going to be less shares out there. Now, the dark pool action has actually slowed down also. You can see we had a peak here on 516. This was right as we were leading up to the announcement of the earnings call. So if we take a look at the off-exchange day percentage, 71.63%, total volume, 43 million, and the 30-day average, 70.61. Why do these numbers even matter? It's just important to understand that the price is being controlled. If we take a look at the charts, millions and millions of shares are being controlled by a dark pool, a black curtain that we cannot affect. So what's happening is when this falls below the RSI, it is being bought up and then it is being sold off aggressively sometimes before it even crosses the 70 on the RSI. So there's bots, automation, alerts that are causing buying and selling, which are controlling this price and keeping it trapped because it's not even responding to macroeconomic indicators. When the market goes up, this isn't doing anything, but you guarantee if it goes down, we're seeing additional pressure on it going down. It doesn't have a high level of short interest, but there is volume, liquidity in this being traded. I mean, this is still a very, very liquid stock being traded by the dark pool. Now, 20% has fallen, and you can see it continues to kind of fall, but not at an aggressive rate. Now, we're looking for catalysts that are coming up, and those catalysts are going to be the circle meeting possibly in June. We've got the July annual shareholders meeting and possible reverse stock split announcement. Then in August, I believe we've got the earnings and we've got legislative progress, hopefully with a Safe Banking Act. But I will tell you, if you're in this for Alcana. And final thoughts would be the buyback program or selling puts or absorbing shares or whatever Zach's plan is to actually help out shareholders where they've been diluted. There could be a specific strategy, and analysts tried to get some answers out of Zach, but they were not successful in this last earnings call. So we'll have to wait, pay attention to those filings. Be sure to comment below. If you hear anything, if you know anything, share it with the community. We're in this together, and I'll see you in the next video.